We have a lot to bring to you guys today, and if everything goes according to plan, we will have a double upload day because we have a gigantic Odell Beckham Jr. update to get to you guys in regards to his bizarre tour so far with multiple NFL teams, and we're going to bring you guys everything that we have so far available to us. And then hopefully later on today, we're going to figure out what Baker Mayfield's fate is, and that's what video number 2 is going to be. So before we get to the content, if you really want to support the grind, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! What would the delusional Cowboy fan in your family think if you got him a white gold Dallas Cowboys pendant that didn't cost you an arm and a leg? He'll probably still tell you this year's our fucking year, which it is. My friends know that I typically don't purchase jewelry. I think it's horrific value for what you're getting, very overpriced, and most retailers unfortunately are very sleazy and will sell you a faulty product. But once I partnered with GLD Shop, man, I have to admit I was very impressed. Because not only does GLD Shop have high quality pieces with real gold that's built to last, but they sell it at a very fair price, and they're so confident that you'd like it that there's a lifetime guarantee on all purchases. That should tell you that this is a company that you could trust. GLD was founded on the idea that everyone should be able to afford high quality jewelry pieces that deliver confidence and help complete your look. GLD is made with real gold that's built to last, and their manufacturing process and attention to detail is the best in the game. They've partnered with people like Snoop Dogg and Micah Parsons. GLD makes the perfect holiday gift for yourself or a loved one. Get them their favorite chain or pendant today. To complete your look and get 33% off of holiday gifts, click my link in the description box. And remember to order by December 21st to ensure that your product arrives by the holidays. And support the channel by using my show code in the GLD post-purchase survey. Mike check 1212. What's going on, everybody? The very first team that had an opportunity to potentially sign Odell Beckham Jr. and end this tour from way before it even started is the New York Giants. Now, obviously, the New York Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. have history, but on top of that, the New York Giants play in a gigantic market, although you could make the argument that Dallas also is in a fairly large market, at least in regards to football. And in my opinion, and I'm saying this as a Dallas Cowboy fan, if Odell Beckham Jr. wants to be a focal point of any offense, I think he'd probably be the biggest focal point if he decided to sign with the New York Giants. On top of that, although the New York Giants aren't the Dallas Cowboys, they aren't the Philadelphia Eagles, they also aren't necessarily really far away from contending in the NFC East. I mean, they have a pretty good shot at making the wild card round this year as well, and they finally hit on their head coach. On top of that, if there's any team that is likely to give Odell Beckham Jr. long-term stability, it would be the New York Giants. And as a result of his tour with the New York Giants, the only piece that I was able to get from this entire situation, at least on Friday, was that there's belief that Odell Beckham Jr. wants to be a Giant as he wants to win in a large market, and the New York City area can be a home for his family, per Jordan Renan. Now, with respect to Jordan Renan, this is the very first time I'm using him as a source. Could he be correct? I don't necessarily know, but I'll tell you what I do know. The New York Giants visit wasn't enough to make Odell Beckham Jr. halt the rest of his visits and decide to sign with the New York Giants, because he would visit with the Buffalo Bills, and that visit was a little bit more under the radar. Buffalo is obviously still in the New York area, but if you ask me, I think this is the least likely destination for OBJ, primarily because I don't think he's trying to chase a ring. I think he's trying to go to a team that can use his services, that can make a push into the Super Bowl while also guaranteeing himself long-term stability. I don't necessarily know what his usage rate is going to be if he does go to the Buffalo Bills. Don't get me wrong, the Buffalo Bills could use OBJ, but you have to admit the Buffalo Bills already have a very solid stable of wide receivers. The only information that we got in regards to this visit was Von Miller telling his fans in an Instagram live that the visit was as good as it could go. And we got this one image of them preparing Odell Beckham Jr. a full course meal, which I gotta admit, this looks insane. And apart from that, that's about it. No visit was more glamorized than the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there's so much content from Odell Beckham Jr.'s visit with the Dallas Cowboys, from an Athletic article to multiple videos of OBJ wearing a Dallas Cowboys Letterman jacket, is that it? And we're gonna get to all of it. So here's what we got from John Machota of The Athletic, who is also a Dallas Cowboys beat reporter. How OBJ spent his first day visiting the Dallas Cowboys. So earlier in the day, Odell Beckham Jr. met with the Dallas Cowboys medical staff and then was scheduled to spend time with owner Jerry Jones, executive vice president Stephen Jones, head coach Mike McCarthy, and offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, and others. Now, bear in mind, in the past, every single member of the Dallas Cowboys was essentially saying how great it would be to have Odell Beckham Jr. on their team. This meeting was more of an evaluation. Offensive coordinator Kellen Moore said it'll be good to go through the process. Odell's obviously had a ton of success in this league. From my vantage point, when you get a chance to watch the film, that's the side of it that I can be a part of. He's had a ton of success, and we respect the heck out of what he's done in 3 different spots now. Kind of wild that they're saying that he's respect what he's done when he was in Cleveland, but I get what you're trying to say here. Now, what this article doesn't mention is the conversation that Jerry Jones had with OBJ. According to RJ Ochoa, Jerry Jones went on 105.3 The Fan and said the Cowboys had pretty extensive meetings with Odell Beckham Jr. on Monday and that they enjoyed every minute of it. Now, despite them enjoying every minute of it, Jerry Jones said that he wouldn't feel confident in signing Odell Beckham Jr. without a workout. Now, I don't know how big of a deal that is to Odell. I don't know if it's a situation where he would be offended or upset if the Cowboys wanted a workout from him before he signed. I feel like this is normal procedure for any time you bring in a wide receiver that's a free agent that hasn't played in almost a year and that is recovering from an ACL injury, but this is the exact thing that Jerry Jones had to say. I'm not confident at all. And so that's the issue. Now, we all realize that issue of health. That issue of availability is here every time. Just this one is very obvious and very pointed towards his injury that occurred last year in the Super Bowl. We got a good beat on that. You got a great read on his career. It's not like a draft pick coming at you. You got a lot of history here, and you can take a good look at not only the obvious, and that's his performance, but also any issues regarding health. So all of this, we got to come in with our eyes wide open, and it has to be addressed. And that's when you can see if you can make a deal or not. Now, the biggest spectacle was clearly when Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, and Odell Beckham Jr. all went to the Mavericks versus Suns game together. I mean, you probably saw a ton of these clips hitting your timeline on social media. Since it was a Dallas Mavericks home game, you heard Dallas fans attempt to convince OBJ to come to Dallas with multiple chants during the game.
That's what they yelling, Grant. Chances for.
Later on, Mark Cuban would come and meet with Odell Beckham Jr. I'm sure this was mainly done to give Odell Beckham Jr. an idea of how important football is and how iconic it is to be a Dallas Cowboy. It's essentially the equivalent of being a Los Angeles Laker in basketball. And you could disagree with me in the comment section if you like, but this isn't necessarily in regards to talent, it's more in regards to branding. There's a reason why the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the entire world. Odell Beckham Jr. is supposed to meet with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys leadership group today. And if everything checks out with the health of Odell Beckham Jr.'s surgically repaired knee, a deal could come together in the next couple of days. Now, the Cowboys continue to be the favorites to land OBJ, but they need to know that he can contribute this season. Beckham reportedly did not work out for the Giants or the Bills, and the Cowboys were hoping he would work out for them. If they see enough to think he could contribute in some portion of their regular season and the playoffs, the next part would be on the financial side. OBJ is looking for a multi-year deal. Cowboys should be fine with that as long as it doesn't interfere with their ability to re-sign players like Trevon Diggs, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, who are all currently on rookie contracts. That's kind of like the beauty of the Dallas Cowboys right now. A lot of their best players are on rookie scale contracts. However, historically, the Cowboys have shot themselves in the foot by investing a little bit way too much in players coming off of rookie scale contracts. And my favorite example of this would probably have to be when they decided to extend Ezekiel Elliott, which, don't get me wrong, I feel like he deserved an extension. I don't know if he deserved the amount that he received, and that pretty much handicapped them. They weren't able to retain the services of Amari Cooper, and they had to trade Amari Cooper for peanuts on the dollar. Now, Jerry Jones continued to say this about the situation, saying, I think we've got a quarterback that fits. I think he could really make some music with Dak Prescott. I think we've got an offensive line that would give the quarterback time to make some music with him. And then I think we've got seriously alternative places for the quarterback to go that would help open it up and that would give us more offense. So So if his skills are skills that we've come to associate with his name, if he's got some of that, that would help us. There's no question in my mind, under the right circumstances, that he can help us. Now, this begs the question, if OBJ doesn't work out for the Cowboys, what would make Jones feel comfortable enough to sign him? This is probably the most Jerry Jones-like response ever. I know it when I feel it. I'll know it. It really will come down to something like that. I don't know how to explain that, and I've missed with that feeling before, but it's also worked. I think the promise of it might work. In other words, the willingness to take the risk can be worth the money, or it can be worth the commitment. There's going to have to be on everybody's part here some element of understanding that we don't know what might happen, and obviously we shouldn't do anything that would really knock a hole in our ship. We should not do that. He certainly should not knock a hole in his ship either. I want this to work. I want it to work, but that means I'm going to be trying to make it work. I'm going to be looking for reasons to do it, not reasons not to do it. He's the real deal, and I think he's very capable of having a lot more career in the NFL. It's really interesting because in the past, Jerry Jones was notorious for doing anything to get the big name on the Dallas Cowboys, and sometimes it's worked really well, and sometimes, unfortunately, it hasn't. Recently, it seems like he's kind of backed away from that philosophy because he doesn't go after those big names like he used to, unless if it makes absolute sense. This is an instance where it makes a lot of sense. You get a big name to wear the star on his helmet, and that can help your team win a Super Bowl. So OBJ had a physical for the Cowboys, and the latest info we have on this situation is the Cowboys are getting some cold feet. Check this out. According to Dove Kleiman and Ed Warder, who is the Dallas Cowboys reporter from ESPN, the Cowboys have concerns after Odell Beckham Jr.'s physical that his recovery from his torn left ACL in the Super Bowl has not progressed enough to ensure that he would be able to play before mid-January, and the possibility exists that signing him would have no benefit until the 2023 season. Dove Kleiman retweeted this, JPA also retweeted it. It's a pretty big story right now. At this point, there is a chance that the Cowboys sign OBJ, but OBJ can't play until next season. That's a huge risk to take if you're the Cowboys, signing a man to a multi-year contract who just started his 30s. You don't necessarily know what you're going to get, and he can't necessarily help you make this push this year while your team is overachieving. So with that being said, if you're a Cowboy fan, would you want the Cowboys to still sign Odell Beckham Jr. despite all this information? Or maybe this is a gigantic smokescreen. Maybe the Cowboys are trying to hurt Odell Beckham Jr.'s value so they don't have to sign him for a steep of a price. Or maybe they're trying to scare off other teams. Now, when Odell Beckham Jr. was asked what are the odds that he signs with the Cowboys, all he had to say is it's a good possibility. Hell, you had CeeDee Lamb, who is considered to be the Dallas Cowboys' #1 wide receiver, who could potentially see his target share go down a little bit once OBJ joins, said OBJ should sign with the Cowboys because look at us. Understanding that you're going to put yourself in this offense, I'm sure as hell he would love it. I'm also sure that CeeDee Lamb would be a little bit more open despite his target share going down a little bit more. So I feel like that's a huge reason why he wants OBJ to come to the Cowboys. On top of that, he'd just be a fantastic mentor and a great locker room presence on top of the talent that he possesses. That's what we currently have on OBJ. The final thing that I think is worth noting is that the Cowboys don't have a timeline for a potential decision with OBJ. So that means we're going to have to sit tight until Odell Beckham Jr. makes his decision. The moment he does, we'll bring you an update here immediately. Let me know where you think is most likely that Odell Beckham Jr. signs. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.